Hello, United in Recovery family. It's Matt. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ and a grateful recovering alcoholic, and I'm humbled to have the opportunity to bring you this week's recovery message. It's the first Monday of the month of June, and we're at that time in the calendar where many of us may be planning a vacation. Maybe you're imagining a wonderful tour of Italy. Yeah, Joe, that makes sense. But I think this silly little video can teach us a lot. Because how often are our expectations of ourselves or our expectations of others based on a false belief that if some external factor changes, that we or they will change as a result of changing that one external factor? Think about it. How many times have we thought that our relationships with our spouse, our children, other members of our family would suddenly be different because we all packed a bag and went to the beach or to the mountains or Italy? How often have we thought that change in ourselves or in our codependence would be brought about by a different place to live, a different job, a different set of friends, a different treatment center, or by changing any one of 1,000 different external factors? We can tinker with any combination of those factors, and it's never going to change the fact that wherever you go, there you are. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about how through working step 7 fearlessly and thoroughly, we can, as the 12 and 12 puts it, with humility as our guide, move out from ourselves toward others and toward God. That comes from the 12 and 12, page 76. That's what's going to create lasting change, and this week's focus will be on how we move out from ourselves. Why is it so important that we first move out from ourselves? Well, the 12 and 12 puts it this way: for just so long as we were convinced that we could live exclusively by our own individual strength and intelligence, for just that long was a working faith in a higher power impossible. This was true even when we believed that God existed. We could actually have earnest religious beliefs which had remained barren because we are still trying to play God ourselves. As long as we placed self-reliance first, a genuine reliance upon a higher power was out of the question. That basic ingredient of all humility, a desire to seek and do God's will, was missing. Man, was that paragraph packed. But I think the best explanation of why we have to move out of ourselves is the second to the last sentence that says, as long as we placed self-reliance first, a genuine reliance upon a higher power was out of the question. And hey, a lot of us come by that self-reliance first stuff honestly. I mean, many of us have adopted that as our survival mechanism. We were brought up in environments that were inconsistent or uncertain. Maybe there weren't a lot of reliable people around, so we learned to be self-reliant. But what the 12 and 12 is saying is that if we place self-reliance before God, we close ourselves off to His will for our lives. And God has promised us that His will for us is better. And that's why we have to first move out of ourselves to make a way for God's will, which He has promised us, and many of us can testify, is better, infinitely better. Tonight's scripture is from Romans, chapter 8, verse 7. For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. So as we head to group tonight, I want you to ask yourself, what area of your life, what relationship or desire for change are you placing before God's will for your life? In what aspect of your life or your recovery are you being self-reliant, but you actually should be God-reliant? It's going to take a lot of humility and working step 7 daily for us to move out of ourselves and free ourselves up to God's will for us. Hey, have a great group, everyone. We'll see you soon.